Today's video is all about why you should stop sharing your trauma and other things that you should not share. And I would even go as far as to say these things you probably shouldn't share with people, period. But y'all know how I am. I'm all about moving in silence and, healing and stuff like that on your own. We're going to get into the reasons why, and I want you guys to sound off in the comments if you agree with me or not, and what other things you think should never be shared. But before we get into this video, first, hey friend, welcome to my channel, Crane Elude Mental Gems. This channel is dedicated to leveling up in all areas of your life. So let us learn together, read together, but most importantly, grow together. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. I'm going to give you guys the reasons why you should not share your trauma with your potential partner. The number one reason is because he will look at you differently. He or she will look at you differently, especially if you first start dating. That trust, that tie, you don't really know the person a little too well. Oftentimes when we first start talking to someone, we want to know everything about them and we want them to know everything about us. And especially in this fast-paced society, even like movies you watch that are love movies or whatever, everyone moves so fast. Everyone's ready to move in by the second date. Come stay with me, etc. Blah, blah, blah. So there's no slow pace for anything. But I'm telling you, the more someone knows about you, it could either do two things. It could drive them to be more connected and want to protect you and all of that good stuff, or it can drive like a wedge or make them lose a little respect for you. I found that for a lot of people, sharing a lot of their traumas, things that happened to them, things that they tolerated, whether in other relationships, etc., it really makes others look at them as less, and I know not everybody's like that, but we're in a cold world, and this video is to be realistic to you. I'm not about to give y'all bubble gum or rose colored filtered glasses. Like, it's a cold world out there, okay? So it just is what it is. People will look at you different, especially if it's not your husband. And even when it's your husband, I still believe that there are things that are between you and God. Just like for your spouse, there should be things that's between your spouse and God. There are things you share if God leads you to share. That's just my unpopular belief, because I do believe that people look at you differently when you share certain things with them, right? They're not always able to understand. Number two is they use it against you. So, and that's in therapy that you learn that too, that one of the things I get when married women or women that were in toxic long-term relationships would talk a lot. Like, Kareem, I told him all of this, da-da-da-da, and then in a fight, he just threw it all against me. I've seen it happen. There's toxic women I've witnessed literally use exactly what their spouse told them against them in an argument, a moment of vulnerability. It has happened. And men do it as well. So you have a vulnerable moment, you share something, and then be like, oh, you see, that's why your family don't talk to you now. That's why da-da-da-da-da. You don't see you lose every friend around you, or da-da-da. And it's like, oh my goodness, there's unhealed toxic people that will do that. And like I said, you have to really pray that, God blesses you with healed people that won't do that, that respect the vulnerability if you are going to share. But I'd say until you can know for sure, understand that people can use your trauma and your vulnerabilities against you. So it's best to just prevent that. 3 is your partner is not your therapist. You should not use your new relationship to heal from your old relationship. That's not why you get into a relationship. A lot of people use their partners as therapists, and we've all been guilty of that. I've been guilty of that, where it's like, okay, you using that person to heal from past relationships or to vent about, it doesn't necessarily have to be past relationships, but traumas that happen in your family with you when you're younger and stuff, and you're using that, and your partner is not here for that. Go get a therapist. If you can, and it's really that bad, do the self-healing books, do what you can, find God, heal how you can, but do not under any circumstances use your partner as your therapist, especially when it comes to as far as healing from a past relationship. That's not why the person is there. If you are going to be in a new relationship, make sure you healed from your past one, that you're not coming into this new one, bringing all that baggage with you and then expecting that person to take all that baggage and make you whole or make you new or heal you. No, that's God's job. God will make you whole and he will heal you. Your partner is not your therapist. And I don't believe in using them as that. And I feel like oftentimes we share our trauma looking looking for sympathy or understanding or comfort from our partners and almost using them as therapy. And we're just dumping, dumping, dumping. And especially in the very beginning, it's not relaxed, it's intense. Everybody's just, mm-mm. And of course, if it doesn't work out, next is if it doesn't work out, then you will regret being vulnerable. You will regret sharing so much and opening up, etc. Many times it happens. The person is a smooth talker, they have great conversations, and you enjoy the conversation with them. You're opening up, you're talking about your past hurts and stuff, and you find yourself letting go. And then the whole time the person has no interest in you. They're just a great conversationalist, and to them it's tea, or it's entertaining, it's interesting to know you and whatever, for whatever sinister reason or lack thereof that they have. And then when it doesn't work out, you realize after all, this person, was never really interested, or they're either using the thing against you, or it just doesn't work out. Maybe y'all two different people. Now you regret, dang, I told this person everything I've ever done. They know all my family business. They know everything. Like, now there's a person out there that knows the real you has not worked yet. I would say literally it's less of a regret if that was your spouse, your husband, or your wife. It's less of a regret. Well, when it's a boyfriend or it's a girlfriend or it's somebody you're dating, you don't have to go there. Because listen, it might not work until he put that ring on your finger. You guys are married and stuff like that. There's just some things, some vulnerabilities. And I know y'all like Kareen, you're being so extreme, but if you've been in a relationship, comment below. How many of y'all would say, what's the number one thing a lot of men and women say? Is that I regret ever letting you get that close to me. I regret ever being this vulnerable. I regret that. There's a lot of regrets because we just opening up, divulging everything. We've lost the art of mystery, which is why a lot of these relationships don't even work out to begin with, because we have no mystery. We just want to talk about everything. Keep it light until you know exactly the intentions, and then make it clear, like, hey, what are your intentions? I know not everybody wants marriage. That's crazy, because I don't have advice for you in that regards, in terms of that. Like, okay, if I don't want marriage, then when can I tell him or her some of my stuff? I don't know, because this person could literally walk out anytime unless there's common law marriage, and you are vulnerable. I don't know how to respond to that, but it's easier to deal with mentally to know that, okay, I was vulnerable with my husband or my wife, but it's a harder pill to swallow when it was just someone you were casually dating, or someone you went on a couple dates with, or someone that you were just, you were in a long-term relationship with, but they wasted your time, you wasted your good years, your vulnerability, etc. You're going to have some regret. The other thing I don't want you guys to talk about is about your family drama either, or drama with your friends. Like, a lot of people won't respect your family once they know too much about your family. And us, sometimes when we're venting, we love our families, and we could vent about our families, but it doesn't necessarily mean we hate them, or that sometimes we're biased and we're one-sided. We're just making our side look so glamorous while we're not saying it for what it is. And the person don't know the good side of our families or things like that. But then you say something to the person and you're venting. And if they don't know those members of your family for themselves to have their own relationship with them, to know, okay, Karina's tripping, she's being biased. Now they're looking at your family weird, and the respect is a little lost too. You don't want to do that. Even with your friends, I try to avoid ever telling someone I'm just dating or I'm talking to, if I'm having a fight with a friend or things I don't like about my friends or stuff like, no, that's not going to happen. And even when you're married, like, your spouse, of course, can become your best friend, and they're going to know your friends too. So it's easier to talk, but they can have more of an unbiased, once they know the people too. But I always feel like it's very biased to talk about drama and stuff when the other people cannot be in the room, and then they're viewing your family away. And then also there's a lack of respect they start to have for you too once they know too much of your family drama, your drama with friends, whether it's at work. Leave that mystery there too. You don't always have to divulge everything. It's one thing to tell your business, but to have them looking at your people's differently, even probably before they even meet, is crazy. And by the time they meet, and it's even with friends. Don't tell your friends stuff with your partner, because especially in the beginning stages, you don't quite know what's going on. It's a tough lesson that I've had to learn. And I'm telling friends everything, every detail, whether it's about the courtship, etc. And now you have to save face because if you gotta take your L, take it in private. That's my thing. Now, if the guy played in your face in front of your friends, and your friends like, this guy is playing in your face, he don't want you, he don't like you for real, blah, 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 blah. You gotta save face. You can't just show up with this guy now because they're all looking at that guy crazy. And he's going to have to put in a lot more work to win your friends over. And their mind is probably already made up. So now it's like, just don't do that. How many times with you, a friend has told you something or you find out something about their man, and that has changed your whole perception or idea of that person's relationship. And now you posting cute photos with your man or your girl, and everybody's just rolling their eyes like, it ain't real, because you done already shared too much about your relationship to people that no one's even taking our posts seriously. Like, it's just keep those type of things private. Next is, don't answer questions about your body count or past intimate exploits. Yes, I believe in getting tested together. I'm not saying to be out here for the streets, vice versa for your partner. And y'all just don't talk. Like, if he has a body count of 200, that's crazy. Or if hey, I don't judge. You have your body count of 200 or whatever. I'm not saying to not talk, because there has to be, you talk about, hey, we should get tested together before this or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Or even after the fact, or how often do you get, if you're not going to use protection. And a lot of people think, the protection just stops at him wearing wear whatever. But girl, y'all be doing everything under the sun. See how far, especially the Christian celibate girlies, y'all be testing them limits of how far you can go. And them watermelon seeds, yeah, them things can carry. There's a lot of ways you could, So if you doing those things, get tested together, of course. But those are information also. I believe that your partner don't have to discuss all of those things with you, and you don't have to discuss. No one's entitled to those information about each other until y'all really taking each other serious. If now you want to propose to this girl and you just want to, maybe if you're a guy, it matters to you. Hey, you cannot be mad at what matters to someone, because even for some women, like, personally, I wouldn't want to be with a guy that had over 200-300 partners. That's just me. Even if he was clean as a whistle in terms of infections and stuff, I still wouldn't want that, because it's like, dang, I gotta look over my shoulders a lot with all these girls you've been with, a lot of soul ties, a lot of this, whatever. So you might want to know, but that's for a stage for that. I think in the early beginning stages, y'all talking and stuff, you don't answer those. And then there's a way to ask. There's a way to be respectful with it, to not just boom. So what's your body count? Or how many people you blah, blah, blah. That's just crazy, and I wouldn't go into it like that. There's ways to ask. You'll know based on the partner on how to approach a situation, because some people, if you are talking to someone who's straightforward, who's direct, you can just ask and they won't be offended or take it whatever. But there are some people you have to be a little bit more strategic. Like, hey, we're being a little serious here, but I don't want no surprises. I don't like surprises. I don't want women coming out of the woodworks. I don't want this, that. I don't know. Let's situate this. Don't share your dream spouse right away. Leave it between you and God. A lot of you guys have your list of your dream spouse, your dream girl, your dream guy, and you start to share off the list to the person that you're talking to. Oh, yeah, this and that, that's my criteria. That's my number one deal breaker, or this and that. Right off the bat, don't, because people will mold, if they want to manipulate you, into the person that is your dream girl or guy, just so they can get what they want. So you want to be very cautious with that and not divulge that type of information, and just keep that between you and God and pray and watch. Because then if the person don't have those attributes, then to leave, and they didn't know that was attributes that you wanted, so they can't manipulate you with it. So between you and God, oh, this was a red flag, or he didn't meet this criteria, or that's your deal breaker, then for sure. And no one can manipulate you, because a lot of you guys are stuck, or we're stuck in situations longer than you had to, because the guy really played in your face and presented to you your dream guy. But if you don't know what your dream guy or dream woman is, how can you get played? And of course, I had to throw that one in there, is don't share your body. Don't share your body right away. I mean, I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I'm a strong believer that, listen, just like with trauma, with all those things, the person's not serious about you. They ain't put a ring, or they're not ready to invest and lock it down. I don't care how hot and bothered you are, sis. Go take a cold shower, go take a cold bath, drink some cold water. Do not share your body, because there is, I know I'm not trying to be like the puritanical or whatever, and I'm always preaching to myself first. I'm always preaching to myself first. And I'm just telling y'all, as big or little sis, because I know there's people that watch this older than me, you don't want to share your body. You don't want to share your body. Don't just be like 3-4 dates. That's already it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Take your time with stuff like that, and make sure that you really preserve yourself, because just like with your trauma, they look at you different. They look at you different when you're sharing, when you're giving a cow for free. And I know some people say, oh, I slept with my spouse on the first date. We're married now. Well, he's adored me, this, that, whatever. Hey, there's always an exception to the rule, but it's a dime a dozen, and I would never, I think it's pretty irresponsible on my platform to come and speak based off of an exception when it has proven that majority of women and men that do, share their bodies too quickly end up more hurt than those who just kind of was patient and preserved themselves. So what would I look like to come out here and use my platform irresponsibly to say that just because you were an exception to the rule, Because I know I said that before, and there was exceptions to the rules that were in the comment like, oh, da, 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 da. But sis, you're a dime a dozen. You're a dime a dozen. That's not the case for a majority of people out there. So be patient with that and wait as long as you can. Even if you don't claim to be celibate or whatever, wait as long as you can. Make the guy or the woman, wait for it. Because there'll be women that be pressuring it. Some guys don't necessarily want to go there. I know, and it'd be women that be trying to pressure them. That's crazy. Right? I have a video that goes deeper into the 5 dark psychological tactics that men use, or manipulators, Casanovas and stuff they use to get in the pants of women. I'll pin that in the comments so you guys can check that out. But just be aware, don't share those things. And trust me, it's a cold world out there. It's a real, real cold world out there. And another thing with the sharing family business, friend business when you fight and stuff like that, a lot of women make the mistake too of telling their men their friends' business in terms of, and women do that too, with telling their friends about, laying with their man, how it is and stuff like that. Went to graphic detail and all of that and stuff, and even show pictures. It's a cult. Women do it. And turns out the woman now starts to lust after your man, and eventually it happens. And also, you telling your man, you think, it's making your man see the woman, your friend, in a bad way. And it's doing the opposite. It's like, okay, so I have brothers, I have a lot of male friends and stuff like that. And they talk freely, especially in the, Haitian community. Men are just blunt. And one thing that's for certain, they'll tell you that the worst thing you could tell a man is what girl you think likes him or is trying to make a pass at him. And you telling him like a warning, like you telling your man, hey, this girl, you gotta be careful because I don't like how she looking at you. I don't like da-da-da. He's like, oh, I ain't interested in da-da-da. And then in his mind, like, oh, really? And then they're going to try to shoot their shot. Same for women. Like if a guy comes to tell my guy, he would tell me, and you notice it. They'll tell you, hey, Kareen, I don't like how he look at you. I don't like this kind of dynamic or friendship. It probably never even crossed your mind. But now that he brought it up, you're like, was there something? Now you're looking different, and the seed is planted. You don't want to do that. And then even when women will talk bad about their friends, maybe they don't want the guy to look at their friends or other women that's around, and so you're talking about, oh, she did da. That does nothing to a man but make him more, for whatever reason, want to try for himself. And you're giving him that ammunition, etc., thinking that you're damaging the other women, but in fact you're creating an interest and a spark. And it's the same for women. Men will sit up here and talk about, oh, you don't want to talk to this guy, he's a player, he does this, he does that. You don't know. It's one of the artist seduction rules that Robert Greene talks about, where you're building an interest for that woman because it's like, oh, so this player, this suave guy, apparently he's a charmer, he's a Casanova, and he wants to talk to me, but apparently he has all these conquests, and even men are threatened by him because they're constantly warning you about him. Then you feel like, okay, let me tame him. Let me tame this lion. It's toxic. It's stupid. We all need to grow up, but unfortunately, it takes a minute for people to grow up. And I just say, I'd implore you to be wise at conversation and in what you're sharing. This is all I have to say for this video. Comment below your thoughts with other things you wouldn't want to share, you don't think you should share with your spouse. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you in the next one. Mwah.